Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Listen to me. I'm Glauco Sampaio. I'm Chief Information Security Officer at Cielo. Cielo is a Brazilian company based in São Paulo, Brazil. We are running like 1/3 of the payment systems company market in Brazil. And today I will speak with you about changing the probability to prioritization method to mitigate risk. I'm in the company for 5 years, and when I arrived there, we have huge numbers when we are looking for vulnerabilities and security issues to be solved. And isn't fair with the technical teams to solve everything at the same time with the same prioritization method. So we decided to create a new one and a new approach to help them and to give a better security for the company. So that's what I'm speaking today. We have a bunch of sources. We're running vulnerability scans, we're making pen tests, we're running war games through our production environments. We have the threat intel providing infos and issues to us. We have our own code scanning running in every pipeline of development that we have it, and all of this becoming a product to the product risk. We have to put all them in the same spot and in the same line of correction, because in the end, it's a product risk. The product guy must solve the security issues, not us. So we have more than thousands of issues to be solved, and all of them are product risk, not cybersecurity risk. And we have to create a mitigation plan and a prioritization method to help these guys to solve this issue. And the scenario is not good. When you look at the research, Gartner's show here on the left side that we are not able to solve all the issues before they start to be exploded. So we are running all the time against the attackers, and our numbers are not good. And when we look at this scenario here, it's becoming worse, because the time that a vulnerability start to be exploited reduce every year, and it's reducing fast. So we have to do something to help the business to be more proactive, have more efficiency to solve these issues. Gartner also providing info to us that we must focus on the asset risk rating, not just the vulnerability. The classification, the basic vulnerability classification based on CVSS. They told us that the asset importance is good for the company, and we have to create something to address all of them, to, in the end, create a classification for this. And it's something that I'm always talk with my team, that we put a lot of money in cybersecurity. We bought tools, we implement process, and in the end, if we look just to here, that is the basic one, we are not considering all we are doing internally the company to mitigate risks. And it's not fair with the company. We cannot just put in, oh, this is a high vulnerability, you have 30 days to solve it. But is being exploited or not? Can be exploited, or we can be blocked by a web application firewall or virtual patching, or it's in an environment where no one has access. We have microsegmentation, the assets, it's not available to anyone access. So putting this all together in the Gartner approach create assets risk. It's good, and it's a start for everyone. NIST S&P 800 also give infos to us. He provide like a table of what the average time to correct a vulnerability. They also provide they use also the asset importance as one of the measures to put in place the process. Sorry guys, I'm coughing too much today. And it's a baseline. It helps us to create the process and give infos to not be someone, the security guy. Sorry again. the cybersecurity guy from the company put in process and define what we have to do. And we also receive, I listen this too much. What do we have to fix first? It's a normal question. When we deliver a report with thousands of vulnerabilities, hundreds of vulnerabilities to the guys, say, okay, where we started, we don't have we're not able to solve all at the same time. So we have to help the guys. Where do we start it? And it's a normal question. And it's fair. I understand the guys. I'm a technical guy. I came from the technical team. And I made the same questions when I have to fix something in my environment. So, and to start this, we use a concept from Gartner named the PLA. The Protection Level Agreement is something that help us to put the guys from the business in the game. We have to talk with them, set up with them what is the protection level agreement for their products and align it with the risk appetite of the company. And the PLA is not different from the SLA. It's the same concept, but in the end, he helped us to give the visibility that the company needs. And in some matter of time, you can also use to measure the cost of this process, because solving everything at the same time for the whole company, the whole assets that you have it's good, but it's not that all of them has the same importance, the same needed to be solved first. So define the PLA can bring you a vision of where put the efforts, where do you put. Yeah, thank you so much. I will be really hydrated with that. So I have the spring allergy here every time that I came to San Francisco. Well, and this time was really, really hard. So the PLA, it's really good. And he helped us to be like, when you're risking management guys and look for the financial risks, they're always looking for a baseline to, okay, we are good, we are not good, but they have top and bottoms. And PLA help us to implement this kind of concept in cybersecurity. We cannot spend too much money and solve all the vulnerabilities in a short matter of time, but we needed to do this or not. PLA help us to do this and bring the guys from business guys to the game. They are they have the responsibility to define what is the PLA, where we are putting money, and again, running through the risk appetite of the company. And to put this in place, we use like 5 levels of classification to create the last view of the risk. So we start with the product. Not all the products had the same importance for the company. As one of my team members said, okay, if someone hits and put a ransomware in the website of the company, okay, it's an issue, we have a problem, we can solve it, but we can live without that. But if the ransomware hits our main core, our main systems, we are not making money, so this is a big issue. So defining what the product is and separate from the other ones is the first level. The second one is the level of exposure. Okay, I know it. The perimeter is gone. We are running full in cloud, but a server or a system that inside your company, not exposed directly to the internet, is not so achievable by the attackers than a system that is there in the internet, like your internet banking or your system. So the exposure of the system is something important also. The third one is access control. Okay, I have an SQL injection inside my application, but the guy must have an access to the system to access this information. Just after that, he are able to exploit the vulnerability. So access control level, it's quite important also. It's a third level that we use it. And the fourth level is exploits. They have a public exploit for this or not? It's a vulnerability that, okay, it's there, everyone knows, but no one can exploit it. Good. If you have it, we have a public exploit, it's became worse. But if not, we are not so safe, but okay, we have to take a look on that, but not in the same importance. And the last one that we use it is the risk, the CVSS. But just that, we are using them to define the times. And if you look at here, we are not so good guys, right? Cybersecurity guys not so good. So we want to help the company, but we want to help the business. But in the end, we need to have the security importance for the company. We need to bring them. So if you look at here, that is the most critical vulnerability for us. We are reducing the time really, really hard. The basic policy for us, like 30 days to solve critical and high vulnerability issues. Now we are speaking about 5 days. And for the last ones, okay, we have a long term to be solved because the importance and the risk for the company is quite low. And we also apply where we call them modifiers, positive and negatives. Modifier is something that, like I told before, we put a lot of money in cybersecurity controls. And using modifiers show to the company that this investments, this cost is being used and is mitigating the risks. So the positive ones basically was, we have a virtual patching for that. If we have it, we can give more time to solve the vulnerability. Good. We are not too risky for this. We have a workaround or even a contention for this. We are monitoring. We are running on a security architecture where if I see an incident or I see a vulnerability trying to be exploited, I'm able to have a process and mitigate this risk quickly. Okay, good. We give more time to the guys to solve the issue. But we also have negative modifiers. The impact for the business. If it was a critical systems like us, we're running through PCI, so we have to be compliant with the regulators, and we cannot have vulnerabilities, high risk vulnerabilities with more than 30 days. So if it's here, we have a penalty, 30 days less to solve the issue. Or even the hardest part for me, this incident response and threat intel. This puts our process in a like a movie. We are changing every day. Then the environment is changing. The world is changing. So threat intel and incident response make this process live, not a picture. We are not running scans, getting a report and say, okay, you have this time to correct this, and no one speaks more until you fix the vulnerability. If we have a report from our threat intel team telling this vulnerability is now being exploited, now we have a public exploit for that. Time change. We need to have this process together with the vulnerability process, and in the end, changing the time. This is the harder part for me. It's not good working so good at all, but for a few systems and for a few environments, we are being able to reduce the time when some incidents are being reported on the market, or even when we receive infos from our threat intel. This is a hypothetical dashboard from vulnerabilities from one of our systems. And look at this. The first time that I present that to my board and to my auditors, it was a mess. No one wants to live with 7,000 vulnerabilities criticals. Wow, big number. Scares everyone, even me. And in the end, it's not so critical like I spoke before. And brings a lot of confusion. The audit guys came and said, oh, your process is not working. The IT guy became really pissed with me. No, not a good relationship with them, and it's what we do for long. We do this all the time, and it's not good. We don't want to do this with the company. We don't want to have like 10,000 guys working for solving patches and apply and correct and fix vulnerabilities. And in some cases, one vulnerability represents like 10,000 or 100,000 issues for the company. So we use all of this to create this classification and create this process. And applying all of this classification and putting the modifiers against the process bring us a really good perspective. And I will show them in a practical example what we are talking about. First, we have 8,000 high vulnerabilities to solve in one product. 8,000. This will take like years to fix all of this. But when we use the classification with the modifiers, we are in the end talking about 35 really, really critical issues. Why? Because have external exposure, public exploits, it's critical, can be exploited by anyone. Okay, we have to fix this quickly. So provide us infos to have a good conversation with the IT guys. We are able to negotiate with them a quick action, a war room to solve 35 issues, not 8,000. That is the first picture. And the conversation was really, really, really easy when we do this. After that, we must take care of the other things. Okay, but we are giving time to the guys. We should take care of all this. But they are able to put this in the normal backlog of them. They are able to put this in the process, running normal schedule changes, apply this like when they can, because they have time to solve all of this. And the low risk, someday we will solve it, but we can live with that. All the company must manage the risk, and managing a low level risk is something. Managing a high risk is different. I'm quite sure that no one wants to live with a high risk all the time, but when we are speaking about low risk, I know companies that doesn't fix this. They keep, because it's okay for the business to still going on with this risk scenario. And this was a game changer for us. The first time that I present this to the board, the product manager said, hey, okay, now we can have a really good conversation. I'm not scary to work on 35 risks. You are helping me, let's go further. We are able to solve all of this. And another really good thing on this process that we are not focused on that when we start the process, but we are getting these benefits in the end. A product manager who are putting in place all the cybersecurity requirements, using our architecture, using the best practices, they receive a benefit of have much time to solve the issues. And it was one product manager that brings these benefits. Okay, now I understand why you are putting these architectural requirements for us. And if I put there, I have more time to work to solve the issues. Yeah, that is good. So a guy who are our security champion, a product manager who was working with us, we have to benefit them with good things, not putting everyone in the same spot, in the same basket. Okay, everyone must have this 30 days to solve the issues. No, this guy is working with us, so we have to give them the benefit to have more time to solve the issues. And this was a game changer. The guys are looking for us, say, okay, how can I work with you to have a better architecture and have more time to solve issues? Because issues will be show, we are getting risk from all, a kind of a bunch of sources, and this is an endless game. We are still getting issues, getting vulnerabilities, we have to apply patches. So a guy who could work with us and implement a really good cybersecurity architecture and use our standards have the benefits to work with not so much pressure to solve the issues. But in the other hand, a guy who are not using the security architecture, not following our requirements and everything, sometimes when a vulnerability came, in the end, he's always need to fix this today. Because when we apply the modifiers and apply everything, it's a critical system, not so good for them. So we have to separate the guys. The guys who are working, really making a good security job in their products is something. A guy who are not doing, not so good for them. So these make a really big, not so good conversations, but in the end, we have guys that understand what they are trying to do, the board understand, and they are forcing these guys to working with cybersecurity teams and implement cybersecurity architecture to have more time to solve the issues and not block the implementation of a critical, a really good thing for the business to solve cybersecurity issues. So, concluding this, and the implementation of this process changed the game for us when we are speaking about vulnerabilities. The conversation with the board became easy. The product teams are friends of the cybersecurity guys. They're not so used to happening, and give a really good takeaways for us, for the team, for my team. It's not an easy conversation. My technical team always told me, "Oh, you're becoming soft. You want to help too much the product guys and the IT team." No, I'm trying to be fair with the company and raise the security bar for all, not just for us. It's not our goal. It's easy to be a cybersecurity guy when a company gives you all the power and you are able to make everyone's work for you. This world is changing. We have to be partner of the business, and this process really help us to create a better relationship with the product teams and all the other guys, and help to not have so bad conversations when we are going to the board, when we are going to technical meetings, when we are going to present to do this to external auditors. No one wants to be in front of an auditor presenting like 10,000 of critical vulnerabilities. We are all being judged for that, not just the product guy. Your process is not working. That's we are listening from our auditors, and it's not fully wrong, but it's okay. We have to deal with that. And in the end, when we start to using this, we are not running this for the whole company. No, we are putting in place this like 2 years from now, and we have like most of like half of the company running, and it's completely different when we presented this scenario and the other one, the confusing report with a bunch of high vulnerabilities. The conversation is not good. So the takeaways that we have from here is it's working and it's aligning with the company. We change the policies, we change our standards because we don't want to have an issue with the auditor. Okay, you're not following your policy. Okay, no, we change the policies. We implementing that in the documents that we have the PLA. The PLA it's agree with the risk appetite of the company. We approve this in our whole governance, and the governance in Cielo is really hard to pass through all of that and convincing all the guys that we are not being soft and we are not being. We don't want to put vulnerabilities by side, so we are managing risk. It's the end of game that we achieve with this process. And this is a suggestion to you. You can practice this. If you understand that is good, that can bring value and can help security of the company, the security teams and the security process to try this new process, my recommendation is follow these steps. Start with your security champion. Not start with the guy that you know that will not support you. Will be a harder conversation, and in the end you won't be able to achieve the goal. Looking for these guys, the product manager that helps the security teams that are together with you, will be an easy conversation. And you will show to all the other ones the benefits. So start with a good one. Do not try to put a bad guy in a bad spot. Not so good conversation. If a guy who are working with you, having good conversations, implementing cybersecurity requirements, using the architecture, it will be quite easy to convince them to define a PLA, to work with this, work with the team, and apply this. It's not so easy to define the PLA. It's a tough conversation. It's not part of our culture to define this. There's nothing like define SLA to an operational process. It's different and must be aligned with the risk appetite. So start with a good guy. Bring him with you. You have a better result when you do this. Another part, this must be an alive process. You have to change your cybersecurity process from your threat intel, from your incident response team, because as I told you before, we have to bring these informations to the process because it's alive, it's a movie, not a picture. Like establish the PLA, it's a hard, and it must be aligned with the risk guys, aligned with the policies, aligned with the auditors. Try to create a section for this and practice before change your policies. Maybe you'll not be right in the first time, but you have to try it and modify your policies and modify your process several times, okay? But bring your auditors, bring your risk guys with you to create this process and establish the PLA without trying to bypass the policies or bypass the process. And give the time to the technical team to solve the issues. We have to give them the responsibility to solve the issues. Solving cybersecurity issues is not a problem of the cybersecurity team. It's a problem of the product, from the IT guy, from who is in charge of this. So giving them time to solve the issues and work inside the PLA. Because PLA, I told before, they have up and down, the top and the bottoms. The guys who are working in the middle, it's okay. If they fix the vulnerability in 1 day, good for the company. If they are fixing in 5 days, but is inside of the PLA, good for the company also. Give them, do not put too much pressure on the guys. If you are working with them, you all define the PLA, let them work inside of this. Do not put pressure to solve the issue first, before the regular PLA. The only case that you must do this is if the risk change based on your process and new infos, okay. But beside of that, let the team work. And try to rest, because it's not hard. It's not simple, it's really hard. We have to convince our teams, we have to convince technical teams, product teams, cybersecurity teams, and everyone must be convinced that it is good for the company. Hard conversation, technical teams, they don't have this maturity to understand that we are trying to do the best for the company. For them, for the technical guys, an issue that have a CVSS that is high. Well, we are being attacked by that, but it's in a server that no one has access. You must be logged with privileged user. It's really high? No. We have to convince them that it's a part of the problem. being a CVSS high, but it's not the end game. And is it? I hope that I bring value information for us, for everyone, sharing with the community. And I have five minutes to questions? 10 minutes of questions, really good. If you can make the question on the mic.
Thank you for your time. It was a very helpful session. It's a two-part question. The security champion that you were talking about, is that from the product teams?
Yeah. No, it's not. The product is one. We have a security champion for the whole company, but it's not a person. It's a product team that is, you consider them a champion. He's working with you. It's not a formal process. We have security champions in the infrastructure team also, not just in the products.
Okay.
It's a guy who you feel comfortable to have this conversation. Like
Okay.
that's what I'm telling that is a security champion.
Got it. And the second one, how long did this take to establish in the organization? Like from the time of thought inception to getting it working?
We practiced this for 3 years, almost 3 years. But it was not so easy because the culture of the company was hard to convince and to change the mindset of the teams. But with in the teams that we also have this security champion concept was quickly. We take 3 years to establish the full process. We make a lot of mistakes. We have to change the policies several times, and this takes 3 years.
First of all, parabéns, congrats.
Thank you.
You mentioned that the process is like a movie, right? So you need to evolve the process continuously. So how do you see the evolution from this process? I mean, so what's going to be the next steps for you and your team? So how do you see the evolution from the PLA for something different, or?
I think that the next steps will for us will be managing the PLA related to costs, because we are seeing that in some cases we are putting too much spots in something that we are able to refine the PLA and refine the cost for the companies. We are focused on that now. PLA is helping us to manage our budget and manage where we are putting money. So that is the team is focused on as next steps. And we were still putting teams and other products and another structures inside the process. And every time that we bring a new product, a new infrastructure to this, we have to change something. The PLA, it's sure you're not be able to define a PLA at the first time, correct PLA. So learning with the other ones that we put in place is helping us to be more assertive on the definition of PLAs, and it's keeping a challenge for us.
Thank you.
First of all, also thank you very much. A very good presentation with
Thank
lots
you.
of insights. I'm coming from Germany, and there's a strong regulation in the financial services,
Yeah.
where you will see right now in the DORA for Europe. And there, managing IT risks is always a key element. And my question to you is, because I like the approach very much, I know also these high numbers what you showed in dashboard, is this an approach mainly for self-development or for applications, or can you use this approach also for the overall IT risks?
We are applying this to everything. We have one process to managing risk at Cielo, and we are putting all the sources, all the issues as a cybersecurity issues in the same spot. So we are applying this to, like I told you in the beginning, for code scam, for vulnerabilities, for patching, for pen tests, for everything, for all the risks, including business continuity risks, all the thing. We have one process for everything, and we are applying this approach for all of them.
Okay, for the IT.
It's not so easy. It's easy for patching is the easiest one, but for like when you see a an architectural risk. The conversation was really, really hard because the time it's too long. You have to make several changes to solve the issue. So it's hard, but we are trying to use the classification that we create for everything.
Yeah. And then last question to this. Normally you have a kind of probability. How much, what is the probability that such a risk can occur? You have it here in your chart. Is this not relevant to you?
We are not using probability anymore.
Okay.
Because, it's important, but if the 0.0001%, it's not so, but it's important for the business. That we are changing. We are putting the risk and the importance of the assets and the exposure of them, and let the probability outside. Because we have issues with the 0.0001% to be achieved, and it was really bad. So we are advocating against the probability.
Thank you.
Hello, Glauco. Thank you for sharing. In terms of tools, do you see anything mainly open source that could help us to achieve these unique database of vulnerabilities?
We have a powerful solution provided by Microsoft named Excel.
Excellent.
We are using we are using Excel with Power BI and Power Apps to make this. We are not have a solution. We are trying to put in our GRC, but the GRC solutions was a little bit hard to be configured to understand what we are trying to do. So we are passing through on Excel, and after that we are going to the GRC and put that is the official dashboard for the company is there. We are passing through on Excel. Maybe when we are convincing that the process is working hard and working good and it's fully defined, we are looking for a solution for that, but try to use it with Excel.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks for the presentation. We do something similar, and I agree that with this approach you focus on what's the most important. However, I have two questions. I don't know if you could go back to this slide with that PLA
I can try.
The diagram, or if not, I can just comment.
No, what is the
diagram where you describe the five levels. Okay.
I'm seeing here, but they are not
Yeah.
doing that.
All right. So the first one is about the processing of all of the vulnerabilities. So
Yeah.
you have like 30,000. One of the parameters is exploitability, or if public exploit exists. How do you do that, considering that scanners normally do not provide this, and manually it's kind of infeasible to do so?
Most of when you are speaking about patching, for example, the tools, we are using Tenable for scan. It isn't for us that we have a public exploit or not. The really hard part, it's after the scan, because when you scanning something, passing through the process and give like 90 days, 120 days to be solved, and in the middle became an exploit, a public exploit. That is the really challenge for us, and we are not being so assertive on this. We have to running new scans all the time, and my threat intel team is being part of this to provide the infos. But most of the tools given this, and if you are looking not just for patching, you are looking for another kind of vulnerabilities like pen tests or something, they don't have a public exploit, right? Public exploit is for patching, basically. In this kind of scenario, we score this. We are not using the exploit concept to in the classification.
Right. And the second and harder question probably. So again, out of 30,000 vulnerabilities with all of those incentives, you classify, and let's say you have 10,000 that are not immediately critical, but then nevertheless important.
Yeah.
Which seems like a bit pushing it towards, like pushing it in time, let's say 30 days, but then in 30 days you have exactly the same problem. So you have 10,000 vulnerabilities that you should fix according to PLA. And yes, they were not immediately critical back then, but they are immediately critical now.
Yeah.
So what do you do with those 10,000 high risks that are not there?
Not so, yeah.
And sorry, and just also to add up here, the last, but it's kind of here as well. If you decide to accept the risk, which I imagine you do at some point, how do you do that and how do you integrate into this framework?
Basically, we do not accept risk at my company. We don't. It's strange, but we don't have a. I'm there for 5 years, and I doesn't seem to now a risk being accepted forever by the company. So this is an exception. I do not agree with this, but it's a corporate decision. Okay.
So when they fail a PLA, does it not constitute an acceptance of the risk?
How do you fail?
Well, again, let's say in 30 days they have to fix 10,000 vulnerabilities. They do not, and they fail certain PLA.
We have financial penalty for the guys. It's a corporate decision that if someone do not follow the policies and pass through all the justification, if the guy just do not follow the process because he don't want it to follow and he don't told anyone, he will have a penalty in their annual bonus for maybe like 5%, 10%, depend of the level of the penalty that they decided to apply to them. It helps us a lot because no one wants to lose money, so it's the sensitive part of a human being, the pocket. So it's working on that. And you told about how the guys are working in this long period to solve the issues. They are putting in the regular process of them. They are able to put in the backlog of the team and running the chains and applying the fix without to being just, okay, I must make a change just for applying patches. It's normal for the team to put in the regular process of them to update softwares and update the infos. And for the systems correction, they are putting like in the normal backlog, like we define a percentage of the team, of the backlog that is dedicated to security issues. So the team are able to put there and as a history, as an issue, and solve like a bug or a new feature of the system.
So in other words, you fix all of the vulnerabilities, all time.
Yeah. In the end, we are fixing all.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So thank you so much, and have a good day.